Alright people, Max Saladin here again, and welcome back to another Mass Effect Legendary Edition Insanity Run video. Today we're starting Mass Effect 3. I've just gone ahead and started the video after the opening cutscenes, sort of just to get right into the action, because this first mission here, Leaving Earth, it's basically a prologue. It's not that long, it only takes about 10-15 minutes. So I sort of want to combine it into the second mission where you go to Mars and pick up Liara and whatever. So yeah, I'm just gonna cut out the first few cutscenes there and just start in the gameplay, and then I'll probably cut the video so it's just me starting on Mars after we escape Earth here. I'm playing as a Vanguard this time instead of a soldier, mainly so I can use this ability, Flare, because it's really powerful and it really wipes out the enemies that are grouped together quite easily. I've got my character leveled up to level 30 because we imported a Mass Effect 2 save, so we're pretty high level to start this Insanity run. We are going to be wiping out these enemies pretty easily at the start here. We'll just use Biotic Charge. That's a pretty cool move. Playing as Vanguard is a lot of fun in Mass Effect 3. The Flare ability, I think you get that by having previously completed Aria's Omega DLC. I think that's how you unlock Flare. Obviously I did that in another playthrough, so I think that's why I was able to choose it as an extra bonus power. We're going to be relying on it quite often to save ammo, but aside from that I'll be upgrading incendiary rounds and trying to get a really good assault rifle with high incendiary rounds, and the rest of the time I'll be relying on just hitting them with Flare over and over. And once we get off Earth and we get our party members sorted, we're probably going to take Liara and Garrus everywhere. Garrus can be pretty overpowered in Mass Effect 3. I can't remember the exact sort of layout for him. I think it's just you put up every weapon damage option he has and he becomes pretty powerful. So we'll take Garrus everywhere, and we'll use Liara as well because Singularity, it's pretty overpowered as well once you take down an enemy's shields. Which Garrus can do, he has overload, so he'll take down shields, then Liara will hit them with Singularity, and then while they're floating around in the air defenseless, Shepard will hit them with Flare or machine gun them, and that should help us out with like most of the enemies in this game. Liara also has access to warp, yeah, and that damages armor and barriers, so really between them, that's a pretty good squad layout for Insanity, I think. Liara, Garrus, and a Vanguard Shepard. I did want to be soldier again after being a soldier in Mass Effect 2, just because I don't think you have to rely on adrenaline boost and headshots as much in Mass Effect 3. You can do a lot of damage in various different ways, and I really enjoy using Flare on the enemy. It's just a lot of fun, fired up like a bomb of biotic energy into a bunch of enemies.
No, but you're a Council Spectre. That has to count for something.
So yeah, we're just trying to escape Earth with Anderson. It's pretty good opening. I really like that they give you Anderson as a party member. Usually at the start of each Mass Effect they give you a sort of pretty terrible party member to tutorialize you, with like Jenkins in the first game and then Wilson in Mass Effect 2, and it's just they always give you a party member who just gets wiped out after the first mission. But it's pretty cool that they give you like a legacy character here, an important character like Anderson, so you get to fight alongside him for once. I did, the first time I ever played it, I was thinking, okay, Anderson's your party member here, he might die during this, because it's the invasion of Earth. I mean, the Reapers are all over the place, anything can happen at this point, really, so but that doesn't happen until a lot later. Anderson gets to stay around and finish the fight, as it were. But I was expecting a shocking opening with maybe Anderson getting taken out. So I'm going to try to just abuse flare on these guys. We've only got a pistol at the minute. I would rather have an assault rifle, but we'll just make do with what we have. Yeah, see, flare is really useful. It can take out multiple enemies at once. I'll map it to R1 because I don't want to have to keep selecting it like that. And we already have incendiary ammo selected, so
What happened here?
I think once we head to this next area we can pick up the Avenger
You have a radio?
assault rifle. The one I really want is from Aria's DLC. It's the N7 Valkyrie. I don't think it's the most powerful rifle, but it's a short burst rifle. You get off 3 shots and then there's a bit of a pause.
Come on.
But if you get those 3 shots as headshots, you stun lock almost any enemy. And by the time you're firing the next 3 shots, it just hits them at the right time to be stun locked all over again. It's kind of an overpowered rifle, but I like using it. But again, we're going to rely on flare quite often to soften up enemies and then just sort of hit them with some rapid fire to finish them off. And Anderson can get them with a nice little concussive shot whenever he gets a chance. We're doing well so far. Just anytime a barrier goes down, I'm just going to dip into cover so it goes back up, because your health goes down even faster than in Mass Effect 2 when you're taking fire in this game. But overall, I do think Mass Effect 3 is easier just because of how overpowered you can spec your characters. But like Mass Effect 1, you had the ability to sort of overpower yourself pretty quickly. In Mass Effect 2, you sort of were on a more even playing field a lot of the game. But in Mass Effect 3, because you're importing a Mass Effect 2 save file at a full level 30 character, and you start off pretty damn powerful in Mass Effect 3. And yeah, being a Vanguard, it really helps out.
And fast, we've got company.
So I think we're basically at the end of this tutorial mission. We just have to hold our ground here until Joker shows up. There's quite a lot of enemies coming in, but yeah, we're doing some serious damage with flare. Like flare took all those enemies to like half health basically. We'll get incendiary rounds back on. I don't know why it deselected that. Okay, and this guy sort of ducked down. We can hit him. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna just be really abusing flare. Hope nobody gets too annoyed at me sort of using that tactic over and over again. Mass Effect 2, I think I probably will. It had more variety from my playstyle, because I was swapping out different weapons and so on. But here, the main thing is they really only need the assault rifle and flare. Because if you keep your carry weight down, your powers recharge faster as a biotic. So having less weapons, it means I can abuse flare that quicker. I accidentally sent Anderson out there, but he's drawing some good fire, so I thought he might have went down instantly by accidentally sending him out there. But okay, we have to swap to the pistol. We're out of ammo, but flare never runs out of ammo, so we can. We'll just get Anderson back over here because he's done well so far out there, but I think he could get taken down soon. And we don't want everyone concentrating fire on Shepard, because there's quite a lot of them coming in here. And there's Joker, nice. This is a really great intro, I think. Just the music, everything that's going on in the background, the Reapers all over the place. It feels really epic. Some of the stuff at the very start where you're running across those can't even speak, those rooftops with Anderson. It was a bit janky jumping from place to place, but overall I think it's a strong intro and it just really sets up the entire game. Like, the Reapers are here, they've already hit Earth, everything's on fire, and you've just got to get out of there. And it really gives you an urgent mission of getting the fleets together to get back here to rescue Earth. And you've seen it firsthand how deadly the Reapers are when they're like loads of them together.
It's a fight we can't win.
And yeah, we're gonna have to leave Anderson behind. Would have been interesting maybe if Anderson came with you, because your party in Mass Effect 3, it's sort of a lot smaller than Mass Effect 2.
What if they won't listen?
You had 12 party members in Mass Effect 2 and they sort of cut that in half in Mass Effect 3. You go down to 6, I think. I'm trying to remember. Liara, Garrus, Javik, Tali, Vega, and Edie. So that's 6. Am I missing somebody? Ashley as well for 7. But she doesn't. You don't really get to recruit her until like quite a way into the game, because well, it could be Caden as well. Could be Caden or Ashley. You don't really get them back until quite a bit through the campaign, because they end up in the hospital for quite a lot of it. And Tali also, you don't really recruit her until way later into the game. So for a lot of it, your party is kind of small. So that was kind of a disappointing thing about Mass Effect 3. I think they left a lot of Mass Effect 2 characters. They sort of pushed them off to the side. That might not be too fair actually, because there was a limited development time. Maybe they wanted those characters to have bigger roles, but just they never got a chance to. Because I think definitely Miranda and Jack could have definitely been on your crew again. Once you rescue Jack from the Grissom Academy, she does have her students to train and stuff, but if you make the decision that they're going to be supporting barriers and stuff instead of being on the front line, I think it would have been good if you do that you then can convince Jack to rejoin the Normandy. And then also Miranda, she's sort of trying to hunt down her father or whatever, but she could really do that from aboard the Normandy if we're honest. Like Liara's on there with all her Shadow Broker technology and stuff. She could really help her out finding her father. It would have made a lot more sense if Miranda was on the Normandy as well. Thean, obviously he's sick, so it makes sense that he's in hospital for most of this game. And yeah, Mass Effect 3, that's just the intro. I'll probably cut it now and we'll start on Mars after the title screen there. Right, okay, we're back, we're on Mars. I've just cut past all the cutscenes on the Normandy because I just want to get into the action again. And the video would have been too long if I kept all those cutscenes in, so we'll take the Mantis. We don't really need a shotgun, so I'll unselect that to keep our carry weight down. We need a pistol, I think, and we need a rifle, an assault rifle. And I think we'll take the sniper rifle, but I think eventually I won't want a sniper rifle because I'll have a good enough assault rifle. So we'll take it for now. We've got Ashley and Vega with us. Ashley's actually pretty powerful. A lot of people don't like her character. I understand, I'm not that fond of her either, but she really she's got a good set of powers in Mass Effect 3. She can be pretty powerful, like Garrus. If you upgrade her a certain way, she's like pretty overpowered. But again, after this mission we won't really have a chance to use her for quite a long time. And Vega's okay too. I actually quite like his character now. When this first came out, I was kind of like, who is this guy? Why do we need another human crewmate? Why is he taking up the spot of someone like, I don't know, Grunt or someone who could have been a heavy duty guy? Why couldn't we just have Grunt on the squad again, or some other Krogan? But I got used to Vega now. I quite like him. I think he's actually better than Kaidan and Ashley, and most of the humans in 2. Not Miranda or Jack. I think Miranda and Jack are the top tier humans, and then maybe I'd put Vega in there, and then Kasumi. I really quite like Kasumi, even though you don't really get to interact with her much. She didn't have a conversation wheel. Neither did Zaid. I don't really know a lot about Zaid. I never really talked to him on the ship. He doesn't have a conversation wheel either. I don't hate him or anything, but he's just sort of one of those characters I never use. So he's kind of on the lower end of human characters. And then you have probably I'd put Kaidan next, and then Ashley, but at the very bottom is Jacob, because I know I just find him really boring. And also, if you're FemShep and you romance Jacob, when you get to the 3rd game, he's cheated on you, and yeah, he seems like a bit of a dick after that. So thankfully they didn't put him on your party in Mass Effect 3, or I would have been pretty mad that he was there instead of someone like Grunt or whatever. So yeah, I did previously romance Ashley for this run, just so that in Mass Effect 2 we could romance Jack, and then in Mass Effect 3 we're going to have to make a choice between the two. I'm going for Jack. I don't think there's an opportunity to make Ashley and Jack meet. I thought we could maybe bring Ashley to Grissom Academy, but she's going to be in the hospital at that point, and if you wait until you do recruit her, you sort of run out of time to save Jack, so you can't really make them meet.
You of all people should know what I'm
But maybe in the Citadel Party DLC, if I keep them both alive, there should be some dialogue there. But I don't think I will show the DLC in any of these videos, because it's sort of a side content. I'm probably just gonna save these videos for priority missions, and I'll do side missions and DLC in the background. Otherwise I'd end up with about 25 or 30 videos. And I sort of want to keep these series to about 10 videos each, or Mass Effect 2 it took 12 videos. Mass Effect 3 I'm expected to be a bit longer, maybe 15 videos. But I don't think people want to watch like 25 or 30 videos of Insanity Run content. I'll just try to keep it to the main missions. I am enjoying doing this, but my internet does be pretty dodgy at times, and the fewer videos I have to upload, the better it is for me, because my upload speeds can be terrible at times.
Shepard, thank the goddess you're
And again, after this Mass Effect series ends, I'll probably be not uploading until September, when Lost Judgment comes out, and then I'll probably be doing shorter videos for that, like just showing
I'm sorry.
probably the mini games and side content you need to do to get 100% in Judgment.
said you'd know what was going on.
And I'll probably do commentary for the first time over that stuff. I used to like just uploading the gameplay, showing whatever I was showing, but YouTube, they don't really like that anymore. They want you to put your voice in all your content, at the very least.
I guess I'll believe it when I see it.
Otherwise, they say you haven't added your your own personal stamp to this content, so it's not allowed here anymore. Really, they don't like raw gameplay on its own anymore. You have to add your commentary. I think most people on my channel, they like just watching the gameplay, but YouTube has, like, they've sent messages saying you sort of really need to add your voice into your content to continue using this platform or whatever. Can't remember the exact message they sent to me, but I was uploading a lot of gameplay just on its own, and they didn't, the algorithm or whatever that was scanning my channel didn't like that. So yeah, that's why I do more commentary stuff now. I did start off doing commentary back in the day, like back in 2015, uploading like The Last of Us and Bloodborne and a load of playthroughs like that with my voice in it, but then I sort of stopped doing that because I found people were watching just raw gameplay without my rambling nonsense in it a lot more. But yeah, you can't really explain these things to YouTube. They don't care. They were just like, no, you have to put your face and voice in these videos. So we've got Liara now, and already Singularity's helping us out. It just really paralyzes the enemy, leaves them stuck in the air, and then the rest of the party can. Oh, what the? Okay, my flare attack sort of flew around the room there for some reason, but oh well, we got them down anyway. As I was saying, Singularity, it's pretty overpowered. Once you have the enemy shields down and their armor down or whatever, you just hit them with Singularity and they're all sort of frozen there in the air, just falling around until the rest of the party shoots them. Didn't mean to throw that, I meant to take cover. Oh no. Okay, that did not go well. Okay, we'll hit him with melee. Okay, health please go back up. Okay, nice, get a Singularity in there. We'll hit him with flare. Gee, that's how quickly your health can go down if you don't take cover in this game. Okay. Right, I think. Oh, wait, oh, this guy sort of stuck. Don't know what was wrong with him. I guess Singularity knocked him over and he wouldn't get up again. Oh, we punched him off the edge. Nice. That's another great thing about Vanguard. The melee attack for Vanguard just looks really cool. Just get your fist and bang! You send them flying. It's a lot better than the soldier melee where they have the what do you call it? The bayonet or Omnitool bayonet or whatever, and they just, you know, stick the enemy like that, or they have it on their they have it on their wrist and they can stick them like that. I just think the Vanguard punch, just completely overpowered punch, is just a lot cooler looking.
Who's that woman in the vid?
So I enjoy using that. Not really going to be a melee build because I need all those skill points to go into flare and incendiary ammo at the moment. So anything to do with melee damage, I'm sort of gonna be skipping over that. Even though I do enjoy using that. Okay, we leveled up there, so let's see. I think, can we put up? No, we need another point for assault mastery. I think we'll leave. We won't level up Shepard because we want that assault mastery. Liara will do everything to make her biotic powers powerful, I think. Power recharge bonus, power force. Yeah, her Singularity will recharge a lot quicker now. And then we'll just put the rest of these points into Singularity. Radius or duration. I think the longer they're floating around, the better for us. Guess we'll unlock warp as far as we can, and we'll leave Shepard's 5 points alone, because if we get one more point for him, we can do assault mastery level 6 or whatever, and I think that'll help us out with weapon damage. So yeah, that's the tram we have to cross over to. We'll just collect this armor. Probably won't be messing with the armor too much. I'll mainly be using the standard N7 armor because it gives you a decent enough health boost. But if I do find armor that really helps out with our barrier or shields or whatever, I will probably switch out some elements for that. Yeah. Just opening all these data pads because you get 75 XP for reading things this time. That's pretty great. That's kind of go back to Mass Effect 1 with being more of an RPG. Okay, we'll just punch this guy. Nice. Sort of glitched out there. We didn't pull him through correctly, but it will. Oh, grenade. Roll away. And yeah, singularity just sort of got that guy stuck. Nice. Metagel, 450 for each metagel you pick up if you have excess metagel. That's pretty good XP boost. As I was saying, you get XP for reading things again in Mass Effect 3 now. That's kind of going back to the Mass Effect 1 roots of every time you talk to people or got codex entries you got XP. So I'm glad that's back. And the skill tree in Mass Effect 3, it is a lot bigger. It's a lot more impressive, I think, than Mass Effect 2's skill tree. I'd say overall Mass Effect 3 is probably the best playing out of the original trilogy. Maybe Mass Effect 1 has the best RPG elements still. I think its skill tree is still a lot more expansive. But I think 3 is an improvement on 2's system anyway. Because there's a lot of bonus powers you can pick, a lot of different skill points to use. And yeah, we can get leveled all the way up to level 60 again in Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect 2 you were locked to level 30 and you couldn't really level up past that. So I actually think Mass Effect 3 in terms of your class and your powers and stuff, it's more of an RPG than Mass Effect 2. But I think Mass Effect 2 overall was a lot more polished in other areas as well. So I can see why some people would prefer Mass Effect 3 to Mass Effect 2, even if they don't like how the story ends up or whatever. And there is stuff I don't like about the party you have in Mass Effect 3. I don't think they give you the best sort of choice of party members, as I was saying. But they had to give you Garrus because just people would have rioted in the streets if Garrus wasn't in your party. And they give you back Liara from 1, and you do get Tali again later, but I wish you could, sort of recruit her a lot earlier. I don't see why it couldn't have been set up so that you can help the Geth and the Quarians out first before doing the Krogan arc. Like, it would have been nice if you could have chosen to go help Rex first or go help Tali, and then you could have recruited Tali first. Brought her along to Chunka, and she could have had dialogue with Rex and Garrus and everyone when they team up with Rex again. That would have been nice. But again, I don't want to blame the development team too much for these sort of things because it took 2 years to make Mass Effect 3. Like, that must have been pretty rushed, and it's surprising that anything as polished as we did get even exists. And I think DLC does a lot to help out and flesh out a lot of things in Mass Effect 3. Like the not having any time to spend with your Mass Effect 2 characters, that sort of gets fixed in the Citadel DLC. You get to hang out with a lot of them. And you can only fight with them in the arena mainly. But it is excuse me. It is pretty nice that they all come back for the Citadel DLC. But I'm just imagining that if BioWare had like 4 or even 5 years to make Mass Effect 3 instead of just 2, how much better the base game would have been. Like, I think it would probably been one of the best games of all time instead of just pretty good, but there's a lot of room for improvement. And I think that's why Mass Effect 2 will always take the crown for most people of being the best Mass Effect. Just because it had so many characters, such great writing, everybody was fleshed out, everything felt like it had a good sort of pacing to it. Yeah, I don't want to be too harsh on Mass Effect 3 because I actually quite like it a lot. I know the ending just sort of really brings everybody down. and it sort of ruins a lot of the franchise for people. But I've sort of got over the ending by now. It's whatever. I don't really have much feeling about it anymore. I think the next Mass Effect, by showing Liara in the trailer, it sort of made me a lot more optimistic for the future of Mass Effect. Because I think they realised that completely abandoning the Milky Way and just running away to Andromeda and hiding from Mass Effect 3's ending, which is basically what they were doing because nobody wanted to carry on after the ending of Mass Effect 3. Like, how do you explain those three choices and have it make sense? You really have to pick one of them to be canon, really, I think. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it goes. But the next Mass Effect, it's gonna be at least 5 years away, maybe more, because Dragon Age 4 definitely has to come out before it, because they've been showing that game for about 2 or 3 years, teasers and whatnot. I think BioWare have a problem with showing their games off way too early these days, but they sort of have to keep that fan interest alive after Anthem and Andromeda didn't really impress people. They've sort of had to go, okay, we're going back to doing proper RPGs now. Please give us another chance. And they've just been showing off sort of concept art and really early trailers for things. But yeah, putting out the Legendary Edition of Mass Effect is probably the best move BioWare have done in about 5 years. I'd say that's probably accurate. It's their best reviewed release in since Mass Effect 2, I think. The Legendary Edition, it's got a 91 on Metacritic or whatever. I can't remember the last time BioWare had a game in the 90s on Metacritic. It probably was Mass Effect 2, maybe. Though I think Mass Effect 2, actually, even though it is really well loved these days, it's still only hit in the 80s in Metacritic, which is still pretty great, but with how much of a classic it is seen as, you would maybe expect it to be in 90 plus territory. But some people probably just didn't enjoy it back in the day, and there's some lower reviews on there probably. Might be wrong, maybe Mass Effect 2 did get a 90 plus. But Mass Effect 1 was 86 or something like that. And Mass Effect 3, it's probably 80 something as well. But it's nice that the Legendary Edition altogether, it's got a 91. Because I think when you do view Mass Effect 1, 2 and 3 as one sort of package to play through back to back, it really is a 90 plus Metacritic experience, I would say. Especially with how they've patched up Mass Effect 1 to be more in line with the other two these days. They've done a really decent job, and they've made it a really decent collection. And I think I mentioned in other videos, I would like to see Dragon Age get that treatment. Have a nice little collection with all the DLC. But a Mass Effect or Dragon Age Origins, it would need a lot of work to sort of look good on modern consoles. Because even back in 2009, it wasn't the nicest looking game. I don't really care that much about the looks, but other people, the general public, they'd probably look at Dragon Age Origins now and go, what on earth is this? This looks like it's from 2001 or something. KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, it seems to be the next BioWare game that's coming, getting a remake or remaster treatment. It's a lot older than Origins. I think they're doing it instead of Dragon Age because sci-fi is really in at the moment. Things like Guardians of the Galaxy, the Avengers, all that sort of stuff. I think it's comic book stuff, but it sort of comes under sci-fi in my opinion. Especially Guardians of the Galaxy and all the space warfare and the space battles and stuff. Sci-fi is really in at the moment in a way that fantasy
you got?
Fantasy was coming back with Game of Thrones, but then Game of Thrones ended sort of really badly, and everyone kind of got upset. And then I think sci-fi came back, and now sci-fi is leading the market again.
They've definitely done something.
It's just my opinion,
Engineer.
but I think that's why they're bringing back Star Wars games instead of Dragon Age first. Because obviously Star Wars, the games anyway, are still really popular. The brand overall took a bit of a knock with that sequel trilogy. But people still like Star Wars, they still like The Mandalorian and stuff, and they like that Fallen Order game.
Do you even know?
So I can see why they would pick Knights of the Old Republic for the remake treatment first
I don't need you to answer.
over something like Dragon Age Origins.
I guess I just need.
I actually don't really care too much for Dragon Age 2 or Inquisition. They're okay.
We're at war.
Dragon Age 2 actually, it's
Thought it was obvious with the enemy.
It's sort of even more rushed than Mass Effect 3. It only had 14 months of development or something insane like that.
Transit.
Yeah, it really would need a lot of work too, actually, thinking about it.
Hello.
Dragon Age Origins probably could just use some new graphics and maybe change up the gameplay a little. But overall, story-wise and level design-wise, I think it'll hold up pretty well. You're really there for the story and those characters. Dragon Age 2, it could really use a lot of sort of environment overhauls. Instead of going to that same cave
Get off the tram.
for every side quest, they need to add in some variety there. I think Dragon Age Origins, Inquisition, it doesn't really need that much done to it. It was already a PS4 game. It still looks pretty decent. You could probably add some new lighting effects and stuff to it. But yeah, it's mainly Origins I would want to play again, and that would need quite a lot of work. So I don't know if we'll ever see Dragon Age Legendary Edition. I would like that, but I'm not sure it would sell as well as Mass Effect. I know Mass Effect was always kind of the more well-known franchise from BioWare over Dragon Age. I'm not sure what sort of sales figures the games had, but I think Mass Effect was always higher. So that's why they, like, out of everything, they chose to do a Legendary Edition for it first. Because the Mass Effect IP has such crossover appeal. I think if it branches out and like it gets comic books and TV shows and then maybe a Mass Effect film, I think the universe could really blow up to be one of the biggest sci-fi universes. I think it already is one of the biggest sci-fi universes actually. But to have the more mainstream public outside of just gamers looking at it, I think it is possible. You just have to get the right people to make the right sort of TV show, like a HBO series of Mass Effect with their budgets and their directors and their writers. Well, not the Game of Thrones writers, because we know they sort of destroyed that show. But you know, like people who wrote Chernobyl or Band of Brothers or all those amazing HBO series, get some of them working on a Mass Effect show. Like The Last of Us is getting a show. It hasn't come out yet, so it might be a bit too early to start praising it, but the casting on it, and they were getting the guy who wrote Chernobyl to, I think, write that show. So it sounds like on paper that it should be great. So get HBO doing a Mass Effect series, I say. And that would really blow the IP up to be even bigger than it is. And I think it would just, it would inspire BioWare to just really do an amazing Mass Effect 4 or whatever the next one's going to be called. Because I think they really need a hit from these next two games they're doing. Or EA might be behind them like the Grim Reaper going, okay, you've failed us one too many times, BioWare, these games aren't reviewing well, they're not selling the millions of copies that we want. It might be time to shut down this studio. Which EA kinda does far too often, to be honest. Some of their expectations are pretty stupid for certain titles. Like they wanted like Dead Space to be selling like 10 million or something. When horror games never sell that level of copies, really. Even Resident Evil, I think it gets to about 5 or 6 million, and it's the market leader for horror games. So what EA thought they were doing, expecting 10 million Dead Space sales back in the day, was pretty crazy. They're bringing back Dead Space as well. They're really on a sort of a remaster, remake, reboot trip at the moment, it seems. Bringing back Mass Effect, bringing back KOTOR allegedly, and now Dead Space is apparently on the cards. Again, really leaning into the sci-fi stuff. I think they've realised that sci-fi is doing pretty big numbers across most mediums at the moment. So they definitely want a piece of the action. I haven't seen how much Mass Effect Legendary Edition sold, but I'd say it did pretty well for them. And like they probably didn't have to spend that much to sort of remaster these games. Maybe Mass Effect 1 had a good bit of money put into it for what they did to it, but 2 and 3, I don't think they would have had to have like put in millions upon millions to fix these games up a little. Would be interested in sales numbers for the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, just to see where it came in at. I think it should have sold about 4 or 5 million copies. Am I being a bit too am I overestimating how popular it is? I don't know. I know Mass Effect 3 back in the day by itself sold like 6 or 7 million. But yeah, I haven't really seen any hard sales figures, so I'm not sure what the Legendary Edition has moved at the moment. So here's the Illusive Man. He's pretty much indoctrinated by now. Even though we blew up the base at the end of Mass Effect 2, he went in, recovered whatever he could of the Reaper tech, and it's pretty much corrupted his mind and all the people at Cerberus. Though there is a theory the Illusive Man has been indoctrinated for years because of the implants he put in his eyes or whatever. I think there's some comic book or something that explains where he got those eyes or something, and it's implied that it was Reaper tech. Maybe I imagined that, but it was something like that. There's a theory that he's been indoctrinated from the first time Shepard met him or whatever, and he's been a sleeper agent for all that time. Kind of would make sense. Reapers, they like to indoctrinate powerful people to set up the next cycle to fail before they even get there. It's what they were trying to do with Saren, sort of maneuver him into a position to really set everyone up to just sort of fail. And there we have Kai Lang in the background. It's probably one of my least favourite characters. Not just because he's a bad guy and you're supposed to hate him, but he's just sort of boring and tedious. I think everyone hates him, and not in a, oh, that guy's pretty cool. He's a pretty good villain kind of way. Like, you enjoy hating the Illusive Man because he's charismatic. He's got a good voice actor. I think Troy Baker actually voices Kai Lang, so he's got a good voice actor too. But he's just not that interesting. I think what they should have done was, if you had Miranda alive at the end of Mass Effect 2 and you didn't have her loyalty or whatever, then she should have gone back to work for the Illusive Man and she takes over Kai Lang's role, and then there would have been more of a stake in that sort of part of the game where you would feel really betrayed if Miranda was still working with the Illusive Man. And it would be better than Miranda just sort of being in the background of most of the game, sort of looking for her father and only meeting up with you once or twice on the Citadel. It would have been more interesting use of her character. But again, only do that if you don't have Miranda's loyalty, I'd say. That's how you design that part of the game. Side mission. and she's loyalty or didn't earn her trust, or like if Shepard failed to convince her to be on his side, it would have been good if she went back to join the Illusive Man, because then again, as I said, you would have a real personal stake in who was hunting you and fighting you the whole time, instead of just this Kai Lang guy who you really have no investment in. He's just a sort of cardboard cutout villain that they stick in there because the Illusive Man needs a new lieutenant after Miranda and Jacob and all sort of leave him. Kai Lang really needed to be introduced somewhere in Mass Effect 2 in the background, maybe. Just so he would have a bit more weight when he shows up in Mass Effect 3. Otherwise he's just sort of some guy who's showing up in the last sort of part of this franchise who you don't really care about. Okay, so this next little battle, it's not really a battle, but it's the sort of quick time event or whatever, when Dr. Eva's charging towards you. Sometimes on Insanity this can be trickier than it seems. At least on PS3 I remember having a hard time taking out Dr. Eva during this, because if you weren't getting enough headshots quick enough, she just runs you down. But I was always managed to shoot her, but like apparently if I wasn't getting headshots, it wasn't counting or something. Don't know if anybody else had that trouble with this on Insanity, but hopefully today we're not going to have much trouble. Maybe they tightened it up on Insanity and you just have to shoot her anywhere. But I distinctly remember having a bit of a tricky time putting her down in Insanity on Mass Effect on the PS3.
Orders?
So yeah, the Illusive Man, he's just gone fully crazy now. Doesn't care anymore. He'll just kill anyone he wants. Okay, let's get these shots off. Trying for headshots, but come on, there we go. Nice. I'm glad that happened first time, because repeating that part over and over again, it really sticks out to me as something that was annoying during my last Insanity run of this game back on PS3 or whatever. It was something like if you weren't landing headshots, it wasn't doing enough damage, so she was able to just catch Shepard easily there. But yeah, so Ashley's going to be injured now. We're not going to be able to use her for a long time. I think the next mission we're going to go get Garrus, recruit him. I'll try to make him a bit overpowered, but I can't remember the exact build you have to do to make him just a god who just kills everything in one shot. But we'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll see you again next time when we're recruiting Garrus. So yeah, see you later, people.